Alexa, stop.
Hello.
Oops, I started letting people in. It's
Oh,
happening.
that's okay. I'll just hit a middle. There we go. We have just another minute. We're going to let some more people in the waiting room and then we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, everyone. I am Allison Evans. I'm the productivity coach here in Southern Oregon. And today our fearless leader, principal broker, Madeline Carlton, will be teaching the Define Your Values class. Before we kick it over to her, I always give people a minute to share if they've had any success with their daily success systems, any ahas they want to share with the group. So feel free to do that now.
I'll go.
Okay.
I did 2 open houses this weekend, one on Friday and one on Saturday, which is great. The aha for the Saturday open houses, don't schedule it during the Ducks game. Um,
That's an aha.
Attendance was low. And then on Sunday, I did a first-time homebuyer class with a loan officer. Attendance was low, but it was really great to practice and just to kind of get up there and practice talking as the professional and the expert. We have another one that we're doing next month, this time with an insurance person as well, so we can also tap into their sphere, and we're going to focus a little bit more on marketing. But even though attendance was low, I still felt good walking out of it and kind of how we did.
Good. And did you utilize your social media to round up some attendance there?
Yeah, not quite as much on the first one. I think just like with the end of like the summer and the start of the school year, it was just so busy that it just wasn't a priority. But for this next go around, definitely. I already started promoting it today, saying that people missed it yesterday. Then we have another one coming up. So I think we're going to be a little bit more proactive.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, that'll be good. That's awesome. Does anybody else have anything to share before Madeline gets started?
I also did an open house yesterday that was one of my most successful ones so far, which was exciting. I think the main difference was I spent time just in the neighborhood the day before, passed out flyers, talked to a few neighbors so people knew what was happening, and several people came by just to check on the price of the house, see what it looked like inside, kind of compare what it would be to their homes if they were to sell. So that was interesting and got some good leads.
Good. Well, that's great. I'm glad you guys are utilizing those systems and making those connections. My reminder is make sure you get them in your CRM and Command. That way you don't lose those contacts, because the more you build, the harder it is to keep track. And then you can always note where you met them, whether it was an open house or an event, and go back when you call through and remember the last time you connected. Okay, Madeline, I'm going to hand over the mic to you and let you get started. Have a great class.
Thanks. Hi, everyone. So I know a few of you. I am Madeline Carlton. I'm one of the principal brokers for our network. I work out of the Eugene Springfield office, and I do compliance for both Eugene Springfield and Southern Oregon. So that's where I am. I'm part of your principal broker team. I've been in real estate since 2018. Before that, I worked in construction. Just to give you a little background on myself, I've always been a business owner. I worked in construction for about 5 years, and then I got my real estate license and transitioned over to real estate. And yeah, I live here in the Eugene area, just outside Eugene in Pleasant Hill. I've got 3 kids, and yeah, I love my job. It's really fun to help all you agents problem solve with things. Which is, I feel like, the majority of what I do as a principal broker is people call and say, I've got this issue, and we figure it out. So never be afraid to call your principal broker, because we like figuring out interesting problems. So today the session is define your value. We'll just kind of real quick go over, this is obviously your course overview. We're right in the beginning. I hope you guys are loving it. I actually am one of Mara's grown-up little PC agents. I started with Keller Williams and I went through Mara's program, and now I'm teaching it. So it's kind of wild that way. I'm sure some of you will be teaching one day soon as well. So today's agenda, we're going to talk about the value proposition. So by the end of the day, you should be equipped to define the meaning of a value proposition. You should also be equipped to explain the benefits of creating a personalized value proposition and describe what buyers and sellers value most in their real estate experience. Feel free to kind of, jot any questions down you might have, or kind of start drumming up things that you're wondering about creating a value proposition and showing that to your clients. And feel free to unmute and ask questions or put them in the chat. I'm going to do my best to watch the chat, but I've got a lot of screens and a lot of things going on. So yeah, we will get going here. So first, we'll just start by understanding what a value proposition is. Knowing the skills and strengths that you bring to the table will bring confidence in running and growing your business. So it's important to know how to express your value when you're interacting with your clients or your potential clients. So this right here, these 4 bullet points are what we consider to be your value proposition. So it's a unique, memorable, and persuasive statement that expresses the true value of working with you. It addresses the specific and special needs of the buyers and sellers in your market. It states what you will do for your client to earn your commission, and it also I think this is the most important thing. It holds you accountable to high standards. So we are all independent contractors here, right? We don't have a boss telling us what to do. You could say that your client is your boss telling you what to do, but there's boundaries there too, right? So having a good value proposition really holds you accountable to the standards that you set for yourself. So, if I've set as a standard, I told my client I'm gonna, send them a wrap-up email every week and let them know how their listing is going. That holds me accountable to doing that. So having that value proposition, it's just important to keep you accountable. Remember that one of our beliefs in the Y4C2Ts, said that all backwards, is commitment. Commitment in all things. Your value proposition is ultimately a promise to fulfill your client's needs. So this is a quote from the MREA, the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. It says, top agents can easily explain what services they will provide to anyone who hires them. I think one of the reasons top agents can also do that is because they're repetitively doing all of those services, right? Over and over and over again. They're working with lots of sellers, they're working with lots of buyers, they know their processes. So being able to easily explain those services, it helps you to really solidify your value proposition because you know exactly what you're going to do for every one of your clients. Again, these are some of the benefits of a value proposition. Number one, it helps your clients understand your value and expertise. Not everyone knows why they would hire an agent for their real estate needs. So sharing your value proposition with your potential client provides them the opportunity to see how working with you can make their real estate experience better. Number two, it protects your commission, right? Your value proposition helps you stand out from the competition and helps your clients understand what they're paying for. So if you have your very clear value proposition, it's not difficult to negotiate your commissions because you've got a very clear idea and you're easily able to articulate what you do for your clients. It also builds strong and trusting relationships. Your value proposition is your promise to your client. And when you make a promise, you got to keep it, right? By keeping your word and working for your client, you earn their trust. And clients who trust you are more likely to hire you again, and they are more likely to refer you to their friends or family. So that's a big one too, just establishing that trust, letting them know what to expect from you, and then holding yourself accountable to that is super important. So when we're learning how to define your personal value proposition, I think it's really helpful to look at different companies and successful companies at that, well-known ones, and see what their value propositions are, because it kind of can get your wheels turning as far as what your value proposition is. So these are just a few successful businesses and what their value proposition is. So Airbnb is the first one there. Airbnb exists to create a world where anyone can belong anywhere, providing healthy travel that is local, authentic, diverse, inclusive, and sustainable. So it's kind of a statement that tells you how they solve your problem, right? It means it's anyone can belong anywhere. It really is this language that makes you feel like they can solve your problem when you're out traveling, right? Walmart, everyday low prices for a broad range of goods that are always in stock in convenient geographic locations. That kind of says it all. Anywhere you go, you're going to be able to find exactly what you want. That's like what we all want every single day when we wake up, right? Let's see. QuickBooks, send invoices in minutes and get paid 2 days faster. So another one, it kind of appeals to exactly what most business owners want, is to be able to do something fast and get paid quick. All right.
I have
So-
a question, Madeline.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is the goal to keep it short and sweet? Because I already worked on a template and that's what I'm doing for clients. It's working out.
Yeah, I think it depends on your method of delivery, right? So you're kind of figuring out your value proposition so you can have it in front of you and reflect on it and make sure that you're providing those services to your clients, it makes sense for it to be a little longer form, right?
Right.
If it's kind of an elevator pitch, like maybe in some marketing and something like that, you might want to condense it. So I'd say there's lots of different variations of the value proposition depending on how you're using it and in what format,
Okay.
right? Realistically, you could take your value proposition and turn it into like a first-time homebuyer seminar or a listing, right? You could take all those points of value and really drive it home and turn it into, a 20-minute presentation. But if you're just looking at something kind of like I said, like an elevator pitch, you can really dial it down and
Cool.
yes. So, so far at Ignite, you've discussed your value that is enhanced by being part of Keller Williams, what it means to serve as a fiduciary for your clients, and the importance of being a market center. Let's connect what you've learned so far with your value proposition. So, we'll just kind of go over how being a part of Keller Williams helps bolster your value proposition. So, being an agent with Keller Williams means you have access to command, which allows you to streamline your entire real estate transaction, thus providing a seamless experience for your clients. So that's just one part of your value proposition, right? Is that we use technology that really streamline things and makes it so that, we can send automatic reminders and things like that so that things move right along. How your value proposition relates to being a fiduciary. Being a fiduciary for your clients means that you place their best interest above anything else. While serving as a fiduciary, you simultaneously raise your level of service and the value you provide to your clients, which is what exemplifies your value proposition. And then being a market expert. When you have your finger on the pulse of the market, the knowledge you glean and share with your clients as part of your value proposition. This is because whatever you learn will help you in guiding your clients to make the best decisions. So those are just 3 areas where you can kind of dial it down and say like these, as far as, being in a market center like KW, this is how it bolsters my value proposition. So one thing to really think about too, when you're thinking about your value proposition is any, things that are really specific to you that can help you bolster your value proposition. So these would be attitudes, beliefs, skills, those sorts of things that might help. Yeah, Ray.
Do we have like a set list of team members who we're supposed to contact, or do we just keep a list on hand that includes you, Tamara, Tammy?
Contact for what exactly?
Because in the past, when I've built a portfolio that includes my team and represents my team, I usually have a set list of the professionals working with me.
Mm-hmm.
So
so a list of professionals, like if you're using like a list of who's on your team to bolster your value proposition, I would include, like your compliance team, me, Tammy Sue,
right.
The market center leadership team. If you have like a preferred escrow officer that you like to use, including them in that. If you have a preferred lender you like to use, if you have, a preferred contractor you like to use, or those sorts of things.
Okay.
Being able to kind of compile that and
And then reaching out to the rest of everybody on here. If anybody else wants to be the part of that, let's build up some contacts.
There we go. I like it.
There we go.
So to kind of define your value proposition a little more, some things that you can also include are attitudes, skills, beliefs, things like that you possess that maybe a lot of other agents don't. So like maybe if you're bilingual, if you used to work in sales, if you have like a long lineage of family that's been in real estate for a lot of years. For me, I worked in construction for a lot of years, so that I feel like I still have my contractor's license. Like that's something that's a little different than a lot of agents that helps in my real estate business. So those sorts of things are also stuff to include when you're thinking about your value proposition. So there's also some possible ways that you can charge up your value proposition with what we've already learned about. I know sometimes it can be kind of hard when you're brand new to a profession to say, like, you know, to be able to put out a value proposition out there that, you know, a lot of us in the very beginning didn't have years and years of experience. So being able to lean on the market center and lean on the experience of other people in our market center and our market center as a whole is really important. So connecting your value back to the KW Market Center, you could say that you have access to the collective knowledge and expertise of nearly 200,000 agents worldwide, because that is how many agents we have worldwide. I think in our market center specifically, we're up over 140 agents in our market center. So just being a part of that group and knowing that you have people to lean on around you also for help and things like that is great and important. Also connecting your value back to being a fiduciary. I can point you to reputable resources for service providers such as handymen, window washers, tax associates, and financial advisors. This is kind of like what you were just talking about, Ray, being able to compile that list of professionals that you like to work with that you can then help your clients to connect with. Also connecting your value back to being a market expert. I can help you price your home and sell because I'm very tuned into the market of the moment. As you're all fairly new agents, what I would suggest heavily with this section, becoming that market expert, go to open houses, go tour houses, broker tour. I think it's every other Wednesday. If you can go do that. When I went through productivity coaching, there was an agent who might have taught this class now that I think about it. But he would go to broker tour every single week, and it really, really helped him. He took notes, and he just like really helped him wrap his brain around what homes were worth in the area at the time. And he said he got to the point where he could guess, like he would not look at the price. He would go through the house and then he would guess what he thought the price was and then see if he was right. And he ended up being really good at it and being right a lot of the time. So, yeah, doing that I think is a really good way to become a market expert. It's easy to go, well, I don't have a whole lot of transactions or I don't have a whole lot of experience yet, but you just have to go out and get that experience and get those experiences. All right. That brings us here. Any ahas just yet or questions that I can answer real quick? All right. We'll just keep on keeping on. So now we're going to kind of go over, we talked about what you have in your value proposition, but we can have all those things, but if they don't actually get our clients what they want, that they don't really help us very much. So we're going to go into what matters to buyers and sellers, because the reality is we're all fiduciaries. Like that's our number one goal, is to get them into their next home. And it's an important aspect of designing your value proposition, is understanding what matters most to buyers and sellers, so you know how to best position yourself to help them. So this goes into the purpose of real estate, as quoted by Gary Keller in The Millionaire Real Estate Agent. For buyers, their goal is to find the right home at the best price in the right time with the least number of problems. So Gary also explains that for sellers, their goal is to net the most amount of money in the shortest amount of time with the least number of problems. I think the big one there is the least number of problems, right? Like that's kind of what we do all day, is we put out these fires and help them with the least number of problems. I would go even a little further to say, you know, in talking about for sellers, in my opinion, sometimes this can vary a little bit. Sometimes sellers, they don't necessarily need the shortest amount of time. Sometimes they need a little extra time to get out of the house or something like that. So it can vary, but for the most part, this pretty well dials it down. So let's see. So we will just talk here about the last little phrase there, with the least number of problems. It's important for both buyers and sellers in their real estate experiences. Sometimes problems will occur, yet with your due diligence, they can either be prevented or minimalized.
I've learned that we also have the ability to put certain type of clauses into the contracts while
Mhm.
making the buyer or seller more aware of the situation and maintaining that communication.
Yeah, exactly. That's one thing that's really nice is we got that, you know, specifically in our contracts, we've got additional provisions. So if there's some interesting or unique need
Yeah.
for a seller or a buyer, like we can figure that stuff out all within reason, right? Yeah, that's true.
I learned one good one from Tamara, but I want to scramble your brain later on the rest.
There you go. So here are the top 10 service areas of the buyer value proposition for the millionaire real estate agent. So we will we'll cover these service areas in more detail in upcoming sessions, but just really quickly, the top 10 service areas for the buyer: needs analysis. So figuring out what they need. Do they need to move fast? They need to move slow? Do they need to, you know, find a 2-bedroom or a 5-bedroom? That sort of thing. Number 2 is their pre-qualification or pre-approval, getting them connected with a lender, figuring out what they can afford. Neighborhood information. This is a huge one, right? Like we can do just about anything to a house except move it to a new neighborhood generally. It'd be very difficult to do that. But anyways, number 4, your home search. So getting them out, getting them looking at houses. Number 5, making an offer. Number 6, negotiating. So figuring out the terms and getting them under contract. Number 7 is vendor coordination. So getting the inspectors in, well inspectors, if that's a thing for that house, septic inspectors, if that's a thing for the house, handymen, if we need to get, you know, appraisal items done, things like that. Pre-close preparation, closing, and then post-closing. So pre-close preparation, I think, is one thing that's really important is remembering like, hey, this is how you change the utilities, like all those little things that people who don't do this every day maybe not realize. Important to provide that high level of service for your buyers. And then post-closing too, right? Like you always want your clients to be your clients for life so that they can call on you for more things so that when they want to go sell in, you know, 5 to 10 years or whatever it is, maybe 2 years, maybe even less, they'll call you back and be able to get the help they need. So these are the top 10 service areas for the seller value proposition. They really are pretty close in line with each other, just a few variances. Needs analysis, again, do they need to just sell and get out? Do they need to buy another place? What do they need? Pricing strategy, again, this goes into what we were talking about being a market expert. And, you know, just kind of keeping your eye on things and understanding pricing. Property preparation, marketing strategy, receiving the offer, negotiating the terms, negotiating to sell, the pre-close preparation, again, helping them to know all those little tiny things that maybe, you know, not everybody would realize, closing, and then post-closing. So those are the top 10 service areas of the value proposition, or for sellers, sorry. Over the next 4 slides, we're going to look at data from the 2021 report of the National Association of Realtors. This is a report on what matters most for buyers. Now looking at the pie chart here, it's what buyers want most from their realtor. So you can see that 52% said that they want help to find the right home to purchase. 13% said they want someone that will help the buyer negotiate the terms of the sale. And 11% said they want someone to help them with price negotiations. And then other, 24% other. Some of those other things would be helping with paperwork, determining what comparable homes are selling for, determining how much home a buyer can afford, helping to arrange financing, those sorts of things. So these are the things that buyers want most from their agents. Keep in mind, these results are from buyers being asked to state the one thing that's most important to them. Most buyers need help with multiple things. Yet when asked just to give one answer, this is the one answer that they gave. There we go. So this one is the most important factors that buyers value when choosing an agent. So right up there up top, 20%, they value that the agent is honest and trustworthy. 19%, the number one thing they wanted was an agent with experience. 17% said the reputation of the agent is really important to them, which I completely agree. It's a small business that we live in, really. There's not that many of us, and having a good reputation about, working well with others is important to, get our clients what they need. Again, this is the one answer that, the buyers gave. The other section, 44%, some of those things included the agent being a friend or family member, the agent's knowledge of the neighborhood, that the agent is caring, has a caring personality and is a good listener, or that the agent is timely with their responses, those sorts of things. So Ashlyn, did you have a question?
I just wanted to add that I think that the other part too is just staying top of mind, because the follow-up system in our business is so important that a lot of people are going to choose the person that's talking to them, so they don't have to go find somebody.
Yeah, 100%. It's remarkable to me how many times people say, "Are you still in real estate?" And I'm like, "Heck yeah, I am. I'm going to be here forever." But the reality is, if you're not out there in front of them every second, it's possible they're going to forget. You're exactly right. So staying top of mind is super important. A lot of people, this business also does have a lot of turnover. So if we're not, constantly saying like, "Hey, I'm still in this business. Hey, I'm still doing this," some people might assume that maybe we got out, or, this, that, or the other thing. So I think that's really important. That's a really good point. Okay. Yeah. So if you resonate with any of these factors, consider including them in your value proposition. So, if you can see here that like being honest and trustworthy is something that is really high on your list of priorities and your ethics, and that's something that really is important to you, that's a great one to take from here and put into your value proposition and show your potential clients that you are honest and trustworthy, and that's really important to you. Okay. Now we're going to move to what sellers want most from their agents. So again, this is National Association of Realtors information. This is what sellers want from their agents. This is the top responses. You can see here 21%. They want an agent who will help price their home competitively. 20% help seller market home to potential buyers. 16% help sell the home within a specific time frame. Again, like I said, it's not necessarily always as fast as possible. Sometimes there's other things to be taken into consideration. 16% of sellers said that they want to find ways to fix up the home so they could sell it for more. So that's, again, another great reason to go out, go on broker tour, tour a lot of homes. If you're out there and you can see what all the houses around them have, it's easy to be able to say, if they ask you, what can I do to my house? Well, the last 3 that sold down the road had fully refinished bathrooms, maybe something like that, right? You can give that advice because you've been out there and you've seen it. The other category there, that's what, 27%. Some sellers said that it's important for that agent to help them find a new home after selling. Help with negotiation and dealing with buyers, help with paperwork inspections and all those sorts of things. And yeah, that is what sellers want most from their agent. So here, factors sellers consider when choosing an agent kind of goes right along the lines of what buyers consider when choosing an agent. So 32% said the reputation of their agent. So going online and seeing reviews and things like that, I'm sure is something that these people might do. 19%, they want an agent that's honest and trustworthy. 17%, their agent is a friend or a family member, so they just choose them for that reason. And then other 44%, some of those things there are agent's knowledge of the neighborhood, agents has a caring personality, the commission of the agent is a deciding factor for them, agents association or particular firm. That's why it's good to be with KW. So those are the factors that sellers consider when they're choosing an agent. So let's look at the top response from what sellers consider when choosing an agent, the reputation of the agent. If you're a new agent, you may wonder if you'll be at a disadvantage because you're still early in the stages of building your reputation as a real estate agent. We encourage you to lean on the powerhouse reputation of Keller Williams. For example, you can say something like, KW has the strongest reputation in our market for helping people with their real estate needs in the fastest time frame and with the least number of problems. So just being able to lean on the Market Center again, we're highly trusted network of agents, and we can show our value proposition by using that. Okay, KW technology and your value proposition. So Keller Williams is committed to adding to that value proposition. And one of the ways they do that is by coming out with awesome technology. Being a Keller Williams agent means that the essentials you need to start building your brand and nurturing relationships are available to you as a Keller Williams agent. There are just a few features that Command provides you and your clients, one of them being Smart Plans. That's a place where you can track your contacts and leads. You can build deeper and more meaningful relationships by keeping in contact with your sphere. We also have the KW app. It's an end-to-end consumer app using the power of AI, machine learning, and your expertise to provide transaction transparency, and remind clients of your value after they've closed on a home. We also have our agent sites. It allows contacts to save searches for homes and get them out there searching and touring properties. All right. Again, any questions? Any ahas? Okay. So now we're going to move into, we've learned kind of the basics of the value proposition. Now we're going to talk how to define your own. So pretty much there are 3 steps in defining your value proposition. First, you want to identify your knowledge, attitudes, skills, and beliefs that make you qualified to be a great real estate agent. Again, like I said, this is going back to just thinking about what you possess within yourself, thinking about what these buyers and sellers just said are most important. So, and, you know, kind of creating an idea of how you can solve their problems with the unique skills and beliefs that you have for yourself. Number 2, transform the value you provide with the value of KW in your Market Center into benefits for your clients. So again, all of you are in productivity coaching. That is a huge value proposition to your clients because you have the capability to find all the answers in a really quick time frame, right? So while you may be newer to the business, my favorite phrase that I've used over years and years and is, I don't know the answer to that, but I'm going to find out for you. If you don't know the answer, tell them you'll find out. It's, you know, just, it's okay to admit that sometimes we don't have all the answers, but when you have the Market Center behind you, when you have your coach behind you, all that kind of stuff, it's not difficult to find the answer, and you can do that in a timely fashion. And yeah. Number 3 is just to build your value proposition statement. Okay. Step 1 of defining your value proposition asks you to identify your knowledge, attitudes, skills, beliefs that make you qualified to be a great real estate agent. For your value proposition to resonate in a meaningful way with your clients, it has to be aligned with who you are and your true abilities. It can't just be something you pulled out of nowhere. So we'll break it down. Some questions that you can ask yourself as you're kind of figuring out your value proposition is, what knowledge do I bring to this job? Do you have experience in accounting or finance or construction or real estate in other ways, or property management? Any of those things, those can be really important things to go into your value proposition. The next question I would ask myself is, what attitudes am I bringing to this job? There are so many different types of people in this world, and we're not always going to mesh with everyone, right? Some people are like real highly analytical, not super jokey or things like that. They want like the business, they want the details, they want all those little things. Maybe that's the way you are too, and you're going to match well with those agents or those sellers, right? Or maybe somebody else, might want an agent that's just a little more casual, likes to joke around, likes to have fun, those sorts of things. And, keep the transaction light rather than so bogged down in the details of things. That's going to help you to potentially connect with that buyer or seller better. So look at what attitudes you bring. Do you consider yourself caring, confident, committed, honest? All those things. Figure out what works for you and what connects you to those buyers or sellers. The next thing I would ask is, what skills do I offer? Are you a tech whiz? Do you know a lot about, handyman kind of things and construction and those sorts of things? Do you have a background in contracts? Like those all things. What skills do you have that you've brought to this that can really help you connect with those buyers and sellers? Okay, step 2, transform the value you provide and the value that your market center into benefits for your clients. So think through your knowledge, your attitudes, your skills, beliefs that can be beneficial to your clients. Many of your life experiences can be relevant to real estate. If you don't see it, look at it from another angle. Even if you haven't articulated it to yourself, you have already used your expertise to help others. Perhaps you were a teacher, little league coach. That means that you have experience helping others. That experience you can bring to real estate with you. When considering how to make it real estate relevant, think about what buyers and sellers say are the most important factors to them, what we just went over in those last few pages. Now think through the value you receive from KW in your market center that can be beneficial to your clients. Let's say that your market center averages 98.9% of list price when selling. You can use that statistic, and when meeting with a potential client, you could share it with them and let them know that you'll get them the best sales price for your home due to the training and negotiation that you have through your market center. You can also think about the services you offer that are made faster, more convenient, and more accurate when you use Keller Williams technology, such as Command or the KW app. Okay, so now step 3, build your value proposition statement. The strongest value proposition for your client combines the value you offer backed by the value of Keller Williams and the market center. Remember that it's not about being perfect. Your value proposition will change year after year because the person you are right now is not the same person you're going to be in a year from now. You'll get new skills, all those sorts of things. The value proposition that I set up for myself when I went through this program, like you guys in PC coaching, completely different than now. Now after being a reviewing principal broker, I feel like I got a PhD in real estate. Like my value proposition is just completely different. So just know that you'll change these things, you'll tweak them throughout. Just knowing how to connect with your buyers and sellers by giving them what they need and what they want in their transaction is super important. So we're not going to role play, folks. Sorry if you were looking forward to that. So let's see where I'm at. So remember with your value proposition that it's not meant to be a permanent statement, like I just said. It's something that's going to evolve and it's going to change and grow as your career changes and grows. As you become the real estate expert of choice, be sure to evaluate the effectiveness of your value proposition and refine it as necessary. All right. Guys, we just rolled through so fast. Don't forget to do your daily success system. Remember to have those conversations. Remember to add those contacts. All those things. Go out there and have those real estate conversations. Just remember that as you're doing that, this is my principal broker coming out in me. Remember while you're doing that to follow TCPA. So here's the little legal notice that I have to say now as I tell you to go do your daily success systems, make your calls, talk to people, but before you make any calls or texts, please remember to honor the TCPA and do not call list, including those of your market center and state. If you have any questions or concerns about this, please consult your market center. You can contact me if you have questions about the TCPA or an attorney to ensure compliance. Refer to the pages at the beginning of your participant guide for more details. These guidelines are for your protection as well as the protection of your clients. Let's review the importance of Telephone Consumer Protection Act and the do not call restrictions for when you make calls and text in your database. So, long story short, go out and make your calls, all those things. Just make sure that you're being TCPA compliant. And if you need help with that, you can always contact me.
So what if we get customers verbal consent at an open house and they are unaware they're on the do not call list? Because that happens to a lot of people. They are unaware that they are on the do not call list.
Yeah. So we have what's called the TCPA has what's called a safe harbor, actually. And it means that as long as you've made the appropriate, what's the word I'm looking for? Efforts to comply with TCPA, if you accidentally call someone that you're not supposed to,
Yeah.
we fall into that safe harbor. So it just means you have to sign into the TCPA within.
So I met Mr. and Mrs. Jones at the open house. I spoke to them. They gave me their consent to call them verbally.
Yeah. And you have
That still
to.
flies.
Yep. But you have to also be signed into the TCPA once every 30 days, I think it is.
Okay.
So what you can do is you go to donotcall.gov and sign up and create yourself an account, and it's super easy to search on there and stuff like that. So
Okay.
as you're out doing all those things, just make sure that you're complying with TCPA. Oh, there it all is. Always check before you call. Remember those big penalties. It's not something that your E&O insurance covers. So it's just really important to keep that on top. So there you go, folks. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything. Yeah. We went through that quick. Does anyone have any questions about your value proposition or how to? Let me go ahead and stop sharing. All right. Thanks, guys. Great job out there. Let me know if you need anything. I'm going to put my email in the chat. That way, if you guys need anything, you could always reach out. Like I said, anyone in your principal broker team is happy to chat. Thanks, guys.
you.
Thanks.
Thank you.